Start this off right.
I'd like to introduce you to the Church of Beers. When you listen to our program, you can leave your hopes and fears. We'll have a beer together, maybe a laugh or two. Church of Beers is just a place for people just like you. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of Beers. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of Beers. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of Beers. Let's all say cheers. At the Church of Beers.
Welcome to the Church of Beers, a show about craft brews and people where we use craft beer as lubrication for our conversation. My name is Carlos Pastor, a.k.a. Pastor Los. And my guest today, my wonderful guest today, is Chef Ingrid Wright. She can be found at the Institute of Culinary Education, also known as ICE, not to be confused with the governmental agency. Also, she can be found on likesugr.likespice on Instagram. And she'll also be doing some live cooking on Instagram shortly, so you should definitely check that out. Again, that's likesugr.likespice on Instagram.
What about my podcast?
I'll get to that part. It comes in the questions.
Okay.
Well, hi, Ingrid. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm very happy to be here with you. I'm glad you joined us here. Well, actually, I joined you here because I'm at your house today. But that's okay. Not a problem. So the way I like to start it off is the first thing we do is we jump right into having our first beer.
Okay.
So we already opened it up.
This is our second beer.
Well, technically, yes, our second because we pregame. But in our defense, it is the same beer.
Definitely.
Or the same style of beer.
Yes, because I don't want to have to be able to drive to my bed and not find my bed.
Yeah, you should be able to find it pretty good, I think. I think you'll be fine in the search for your bed. So the first beer that we have today, it is a Golden Monkey's Belgian style triple. It is 9.5% ABV, which is alcohol by volume. And so funny. The description is about this beer. Meet the most curious of all the monkeys. His journey to discover the truth about life leads him to meditate with the monks, wrestle with the lions, and study the stars. I guess he was... If you drink enough of this, yeah, I would definitely think about staring at stars, but not wrestling with lions.
Definitely not.
Monkeys don't do that.
Especially this monkey.
Right. So we're going to just start with this. This is nice. So look, we've known each other for a long time.
Yes.
I feel so blessed to have you here. I'm so very happy.
So am I.
It's like... Well, we met each other first when we were how old?
Oh my God, in our 20s, no?
21, 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 and 21.
About that?
Yeah. And the first thing I said to you was, where are you from? What type of accent? What's that accent? It's like,
and I was like, what accent? I do not have an accent. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But, so you've gone on to do a bunch of interesting things in those, that time period since the last time I seen you when we were 20.
Yes. So when you met me, I was a cleaning lady.
Right.
I used to clean office buildings. I was a mom in the daytime, and then in the evenings I went and I cleaned office buildings and take out garbage and clean toilets and stuff like that. And you and I met down the street, right? Or were you at one of the places that I worked at?
I was at your job. Yeah, okay. I was at the time I was doing moving. And,
okay. Yes.
And I was moving somebody out of the office building, and I just kind of happened to be coming through, and I kept passing you. Not by not by mistake, because it was like, oh man, who's this lady? Like, with the big poofy curly hair.
Yeah, and then from there I pursued a career as a model, and I traveled a lot.
That right there. I know you had talked about the modeling thing, and I think when we first met, you were doing it a little bit, right?
I was dabbling into
getting your toe wet.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And then I got a break. I got a cover of a magazine,
Which magazine was that?
It was one of those black hair care magazine. It was just by chance that I happened to be able to they took a picture and just like the best model will be on the cover of the magazine, and it was like, well, it's not going to be me. I'm not a model. They just brought me here because I had really full hair and natural hair.
Right.
And we did the pictures. I was in the set, and these models were all gorgeous and amazingly beautiful. And I was like, yeah, I don't even have a chance. But now was I even thinking about it either. And I decided to just, take the picture, and it went off. And the most craziest thing about it all is that they told us call time was at 8 o'clock. So they first come, first serve. So I walked in at 7:30 for my call time. And when I walked in at 7:30, I was the first one, no one there. They started doing my makeup. Then other models start coming in like 5-10 minutes after me. And they were like so much important, and they kept bumping me off. And everybody was like, can I go before you? You don't really have anywhere to go. I got an audition, and they have this, and they have a lot of things to do. So I didn't have anything, so I just kept bumping off. So I got there at 7 o'clock, and I didn't leave there till 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
But that's only because I didn't think about fighting back. I just was like, well, I don't have anywhere to go. These ladies are amazing models, and they have things to do, so it's fine. And so when the photographer said, you would be, whoever gets the best picture would be the one on the cover of the magazine, I was like, okay, that's definitely not going to be me. So I wasn't trying to fight about it. And maybe about a month and a half ago, after, they called me and said, Ingrid, you're on the cover of the magazine. I was like, what magazine?
So it's black hair, right?
Black Hair Care is called.
Black Hair Care.
Yes. And I remember, so then they said that to me, and I dismissed it. It wasn't really a big deal for me, or I didn't believe it or whatever. And I remember walking on the subway platform. When they have those little booths that have magazines with pictures on it, and I saw a picture of myself. I was like, oh my God. And I hid.
You hid in the subway station?
Like, I didn't want nobody to see it was me.
People were probably like, what's wrong with this lady?
Yes.
It's like crackheads in New York.
Exactly. And people then would call me and tell me, I saw your picture, and I was like, I thought it was the most embarrassing thing ever for people to see me. And the locations that I worked at cleaning, they would say to me, I sound like your face seems so familiar. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, and then I got a contract.
I remember when you got that, by the way.
You do?
I do remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I knew you before you got it.
Before I got it.
And you told me, you were like, yeah, I'm kind of trying to do some modeling stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then I do remember you getting it. And then we hung out a couple more times, and then you just disappeared for a long period of time. And we talked a little on the phone, but...
Yes, I went abroad.
When you went abroad.
Yeah, I went to France and traveled a little bit in France, and then stayed in Germany. I had a contract there. Then Spain, and lived in France for 4 years.
Wow.
That's where I started development of food. And
what part of France?
Paris.
And so the modeling career was like, what are the like, so you lived in those places for like a period of time, or did you like travel like beyond that?
No, I lived in those places for a period of time. So like in Germany, I stayed for 6 months. In Barcelona, I stayed for 3 months.
Barcelona.
And then I went into Germany. I said that already. And I stayed in France. Did a little bit in London. Actually, London was the one I stayed the longest because I spoke the language. So I stayed there for 1 year.
Okay. But you speak how many languages now?
5 only.
Only 5. I'm still trying to command the English language, and you're rocking out 5. That's great.
Well, whatever. But
okay, sorry to interrupt you. What are the 5 languages that you speak?
Well, it's not nothing fantastic about this because they're all sister languages.
Okay.
So I speak Spanish because I'm naturally Latina.
Okay.
So I speak Spanish. I speak Portuguese. Mm-hmm. They're sister language. I have Italian under my belt. That's another sister language. That's all Latin related languages. I speak Mandarin.
You speak Mandarin?
Yes, just a little bit. I lived in China for a little while.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. That's a hard language to speak.
It is, and that's why I tend to tell people too much sometimes that sometimes I tell people that I don't speak it, but I can understand it, because if I don't practice all the time, I forget it. And sometimes I have people speak to me, like I go to Chinatown to try to, and I have them speak to me, yes, and I have to say to them, slow down, because it's pretty
How
fast.
do you say slow down in Mandarin?
I don't have no idea.
Oh, so you just say slow down?
Yes.
Or you go like this with your hand? Just hand up and down? Which means either give me head or slow down, right? I'm moving my hand up and down.
I
ladies
like
and gentlemen.
that. Give me head. Huh?
Right, you never seen it? Like,
I never thought about it. Maybe that's why they look at me so strangely.
Yeah, probably.
And then, so I travel and cook. So now my passion is food.
Right, and so then you went from what could I call you a supermodel? Is that what supermodels do, or what is a supermodel? That's okay. That's you're in the modeling business enough. Like, you were getting paid outside the United States. You were in all these different countries. What is a supermodel versus a regular model?
Well, you have a supermodel like Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell,
Okay,
right? And those people are getting billboards, and people want their names on them. That's going to represent their line, their products, yeah?
okay.
Somebody like me, nobody knows who Ingrid Wright is, at least not yet,
Right.
right? So
We're gonna work on that.
we're going to work on that. So I am just somebody who has a lean body, who can fit their clothes and look good on it. And I walked on the runway.
And you look fabulous, girlfriend.
And I walked down the runway, and people happened to like it and stuff like that. That's the difference between me and a supermodel. I had a dream. I unfortunately didn't get to escalate it to where I wanted it to be, because the competition is so big, especially for African American women, right? So when I went to Paris, I went there with a promise of a contract to work with the modeling agency Elite. And after that, when I got to Elite, I worked without a contract. I worked a few different designers. I did Christian Lacroix, I did Isimiyaki. And when it was time for me to get my contract, they asked me to lose some weight. I needed to lose 10 more pounds, but I was already weighing 115. And I was like, I don't think that's going to be any possible for me, because I had a bubble butt. I have a bubble butt.
Right.
I'll have a bigger bubble butt now.
Right.
But so it was not really feasible for me to lose more weight than I was already
They're like,
losing.
what's that thing behind you? Is that a booty? Oh, booties. No, we have to. It has to be a wall. We need a wall.
That's pretty much it.
But yet, all those white girls are doing squats out their face to try to get a fatter ass. And
But
they're
that's
like,
now, all right?
oh, you're right. It is now.
I haven't done modeling in 15 years.
True.
So this
true.
is now.
Time has changed for the better, I think. 'Cause
Totally.
The more light skin or white women I see with fat booties, like, where'd they come from? Like,
Yeah, they
an
went to-
Asian girl with a fatty, like, that doesn't even make sense to me.
It doesn't
in my
make
brain.
sense.
But
They-
they're out there now.
Exactly.
I
And it's
blame it on Frank
accepted.
Purdue. It's in the chicken. They put it in the chickens. They pump them full of stuff to make the tops heavy and the butts bigger. And all of a sudden now you got a bunch of
And now it's being a
Asian
chef.
girls, with fatties. You're like, what's going on? If I was in jail, I've never been to jail, but if I was in jail and then, in like say the 1990s and then came out now, I wouldn't know what was going on. I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean? What's a Facebook?
First of all, it's like, girl, where did you get that ass?
That too.
It's a white girl has
But see,
ass.
that's where you see Instagram models and you're just like, this is a white girl, and she's like, she's built like a freaking freight train.
And
Jesus
it's
Christmas.
Okay. And it's okay.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
need
fine.
to take a sip of
oh yeah,
this
we'll totally
beer
take
again.
another sip. This is a good beer. The 9.5% does not hurt. It goes down very smoothly.
It's very good. And it's actually even better than I thought it would be, because I'm not a beer drinker.
That's why I picked it.
I like beer when it's super hot outside.
Gotcha.
It's got to be super cold. It goes down nice and sweet. That's it. And that's the only time you get me to have a beer. Today it's cold, it's rainy, and this is pretty good.
And this is the challenge for me. Whenever I have somebody on, especially like I know you're a chef, and I always think chefs drink wine. Like that's their go-to. Most likely, you might have some chefs that have sherries or whiskeys or things like that. But like wine is usually
Yeah,
go
because we cook with it, and that's
Right.
our excuse to have it in our kitchen.
Right. A big jug and